Be re-uploading the skins videos because they weren't very loud enough. So as I get ready, listen to me analyse the characters. Right, getting into Michelle and Tony. They are both suns in Aries, which makes them get incredibly bored easy, but go about it in two completely different ways. Tony has a moon in Aquarius, though he's very cold and aloof, but he also has a Taurus rising, what gives him that such tall height, which Tauruses often don't get associated with, but it is true. Think of a few like Pete Townsend, all bad example. But yeah, there are some very tall Tauruses. Megan the Stallion, Taurus rising. Mariah Carey, Taurus rising. So you're not just going to get a little bit of astro information in this, you're going to get a lot, and don't let it just go over your head, just bear with me. So he plans to, on season one, create a shift in the relationship with him and Michelle, because he said this town's so boring. And then he like goes with that posh girl in the choir in front of her, in front of Michelle and Sid, and wanting them to get together through boredom. And they do, and then there's Cassie into the picture, and Cassie's a Pisces sun with an Aquarius moon and Aquarius rising. See, she kind of gets this behaviour from Tony. Tony annoys her immensely because he takes away Sid from her. And she goes, you don't care about much else but Tony. And Sid, I'm going to say it, is a bit of a simp. And now he's a sun in Capricorn, moon in Cancer, and... No, sorry, that's down. Sid is a Capricorn sun, a Libra moon, simp, and Pisces rising. See, him and Cassie have that Pisces sun and Pisces rising conjunct together. So when two planets are in the same sign, they're conjunct with each other. Anyway. Now, the only thing that Tony really protects is his sister Effie, who's a Pisces rising, Virgo moon, and Scorpio sun. Now, they've both got the fact that their sun is Mars ruled, so they both have that passion and fire, but in different ways. Michelle has that Sag rising, because when I first saw Michelle, this one made me think of an Aries, is her hair. It was like horned almost, and her nose and her face, and she just gave off her Aries energy. Maybe in real life, I think she's an Aquarius in real life, April Pearson, but the character she's playing isn't. And then you go to Jal and Chris's relationship, which is really unrealistic, I think, in the first place. This is why I prefer Gen 2 in this reason, and I'm going to come up with that in a minute. And, yeah, he's a Sag sun, Pisces moon, and Aquarius rising. So that's why him and Cassie get on so well together. They're both Aquarius risings, and they both are quite mutable energy. And if you've noticed them in the group, they're the ones that can adapt to any like of the behaviour. Even Cassie, who's like got a lot of mental health problems and her ED, she's still able to adapt to all the rubbish and bullshit. Even when she's about mental. Well, I said to my boyfriend I didn't want to start saying "oh wow" all the time, because I just think it's a great response to everything. The way Tony did that to Michelle was really bad. I thought they were with that posh girl, and then when she got with the boyfriend, the brother of the posh girl, and he ruined it, and then all that stuff happened with Effie. See, he ride or die for Effie to the point of where he literally did nearly die. Season 2 has a much better love story with Emily and Naomi. Emily really likes Naomi, and she stands as a strong, bold woman, where her sexuality's hidden, and they're both sort of, their sexuality's hidden, and they don't want to talk about it in different ways. Emily's the one who's trying a bit harder. Naomi's more shut off. with this behaviour. And originally in my first like thesis about this, I put that Emily is not Emily. I put that Naomi is an Aquarius with a Libra rising and a Capricorn moon. Well, I've changed that to an Aquarius rising, Capricorn sun, and Scorpio moon, and Emily having a Scorpio moon. Now, Katie and Emily are so different, and this is where it's, with twins, there's usually a bit more of a similarity in the behaviour, but then again, I've got two uncles who are completely different in behaviour, and I asked an astrologer about this because I've got a Scorpio brother who goes, well, what about twins then? And he says there's one twin that's more bolder, and they said there was a word for it, and there's one more sharper, outgoing to more extrovert, and one is more introvert. Emily and Katie, at first I said they're Pisces moon or Cancers, you know, there was some water energy there, but now I'm saying they're Libra rising, Scorpio moons, and what sun sign did I say they were? The way that Emily is just so proud to like call Naomi and say how much she likes her, the way they kiss, and she's not ashamed, and she goes up to her and she stands up for her at her own detriment of her homophobic mother and homophobic sister. The brother in it cracks me up, the little brother, he's got to be a Leo with his little sharp things and going through puberty instead of puberty. Right, so I've done Gen Z, not Gen Z. Not Gen Z, I'm a millennial, I'll have you know. And then there's JJ, like somebody said, oh, him and Pandora would have been great together. Stop saying that, that's insulting to people who, like me, who've got Asperger's and that. What, just because they're both a bit doesn't mean that they need to be together. But they made the mistake of putting opposites, I know, with Chris and Jal, because I thought that was just so mixed up. Like, there's no compatibility. I don't see any compatibility there whatsoever, even though there's a bit of like cardinal and mutable energy going together. There's just nothing they've got in common. And yeah, see her Cancer moon. This is what I said in the first bit, and I got it right just by thinking. I didn't think about the Venus sign. Jal's moon is in her second house, which means she cares about belongings, and that is deep down that's what she cares about, are like materialistic things, and she just comes across to me like that, those things that matter in life. And I've got a sibling who's got that placement, and I really believe it to be true about them. So, and then JJ, you've got an Aries rising, Capricorn sun. Sorry, I'm going from like different generations, but you've got he's an Aries rising, Capricorn sun, and Libra moon. He hates the fighting with any of his friends, which Libra moons can't stand. They just want everyone to get along. That's not the case, Libra moons. I've got a Libra moon partner and a Libra moon friend. I seem to be surrounded by them, and I'm not a fan of Libras. And sometimes you don't have to be the diplomat, and sometimes you don't have to be, oh, everyone has to get along, and I'm just gonna like let everyone like R-A-P-E my feelings, and you know. And the way he fights for his friends is really very Aries like, and but then when he has those lapses in that is when his Libra sun is ruling a part of it. But his Aries rising would be in opposition with his Libra moon, which would be in the 7th house, which means relationships deep down would be very important to him, whether they're relationships with friends or partners. But we go further along here, and we're going to see Freddie wasn't that important to me in this series because I thought she was better with Cook. And then there's Pandora, one of my favourite characters ever. Pisces sun, Leo moon, and Cancer rising. So the Cancer rising and Leo moon. See, to her, you'd think like her emotions are quite shallow, and when it comes to her birthday party, no, Effie is out of order for what she does. So, but then she quickly, like afterwards, she thinks, after Thomas has gone, right, I'm going to do it, that's the right thing to do. Even though she said to Effie, oh, I don't ever go over your men, she just had enough of it. Her Pisces part of herself had had enough of it and couldn't take it any more of Effie's behaviour, because Effie's behaviour is seen as very selfish in the series, and how she's gone back and forth to men. Name me someone in their 20s who hasn't done that, because I did that and I felt like guilt and shame for it. I look back at it now and think, player, you know, you had fun. That's what I realised. Your 20s is the experiment years. Your 30s is like the karma for some of that behaviour. I'm coconutting my hair. I'm trying to learn tips to make my hair better for, like, my dry scalp. Anyway, so, yeah, Pandora, you think, would, she's got deep emotions because she's got that Cancer and that Pisces there, so she's got a lot of water. Like we said, we haven't done the Venus signs in these videos, so that's gonna, like, go play on quite a lot as well. And the fact that she goes with Cook, and if you notice, there's a series go on, her hair gets let down, and that happens a lot in series once their characters let go and they've come older and mature, their hair's down. Even with Effie when she started off. Katie, Sag, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Libra rising, so her and Emily obviously the same because they are twins. But like I said to you before, with twins, there's different behaviours that are let out. And the thing with Katie, and then the fact that she can't have children is absolutely heartbreaking. I know that I hated that because I haven't gone through that, but I know for a fact that I can't have children naturally myself. And that PCOS, what I have, mimics early menopause, so it's hard to know the difference. But getting told that at like 17 years old must be absolutely really overwhelming, and no one listens to her, and she's like the brave hard girl, which is something a Sagittarius would let happen. And then the Scorpio side of it, because I've got a similar story to something to do with it, rules the sexual genitalia and everything, and that would make perfect sense, that storyline. And then Emily and Naomi ride hard, die for each other once things go on, even after like Naomi has gone with that other girl and Emily's forgiven her for it, and then Emily gets with another girl. They're back and forth because they both have Scorpio moon, so their moon is conjunct. Let me work out what house each of his moon would be in. So, right, no moon in the second house here. Oh no, hold on. Yeah, moon in the second house. So her moon would fall in her second house. So Emily's moon, Naomi's moon would fall into Emily's second house. Let's do Naomi. Because Naomi, I think, I put capital and sun. Sorry. To her ninth house of travel and philosophy. So that's interesting. Like, she wants that in all her travel plans, whereas Emily wants her in her stability maybe and family life. And although I said that the second house for me is quite a shallow placement and that, it's also maybe building a home together, and that's beautiful. I love their relationship so much, and I love the fact that it annoyed the homophobic mum. And I just love skins and something new. I will do him and her. I don't think as many people has watched him and her, but it's really good. But the nauseating sister makes it so much work, makes it so difficult to watch sometimes, and I'm going to watch it in a minute. But this is just an example because I knew the sound was down really low when I did my last video. I didn't do Anna and Maxley because I just found them quite boring characters. Same with Thomas and Freddie. But yeah, that's just an example of some of these signs in skins. And we can do generation 3. I'd be happy to hear it in the comments what you think and if you'd like to add anything to it. Yeah, thank you.